Hello and welcome back to the Edge on Football channel. And today we are talking all things Arsenal versus Liverpool. Honestly, it was a game of two halves. In the first half, Liverpool really were extremely passive. Anyone that was in midfield or up front was a passenger. Ekatike didn't really get on the ball, didn't show what he's been showing the last few games. You can say the same for McAllister. Wirtz, for example, awful stats in the first half. Pretty much nothing on anything. Gave the ball away constantly. And honestly, it was a poor showing. Arsenal dominated with their three players, Zubimendi, Merino, Rice. They had Liverpool on toast. Second half, however, Slot made a few tactical changes and absolutely done Arteta. Now look at the scoreline, you probably wouldn't think that, but the pressing was improved. Wirtz was much better. His stats in the second half, he was first in dribbles, first in tackles. He had something like 43, 45 touches in that second half, 4 recoveries, and ground duels were incredible. And another one I forgot to mention as well in the game for Liverpool was Gravenberch. Honestly, he was everywhere. In the second half, he absolutely schooled that Arsenal midfield. And if Arsenal knew how to do anything other than pass the ball back in terms of their midfield, they might have actually done something. But again, Arteta, standard, he goes to a Premier League title rival away from home, and then he just plays it safe. Doesn't really want to do too much for that win, doesn't want to risk it. Now, if that was Man United of old, or even Arsenal of old, the Invincibles, that team would have been going for you. None of this, let's try and nick a goal and hold back. It just doesn't work. Not against the likes of a prime Man City, a prime Liverpool in what we're seeing now, which is only going to get better with the just announced Isak signing, which is incredible. I didn't think it was going to come through, but then a couple of days ago, saw that Walter made. I joined Newcastle, and then I just knew it would be a matter of time. But the real problem here now is Arsenal. Where do they go from here? This season, again, was about them finally winning the title. They finally got that striker in Gyökeres. The man brushed his hair more times than he had shots on goal. And that's through all of his games this season. Yeah, he bagged a couple against Leeds. But it's Leeds. You don't sign players like him for those games. You sign him for the big games. And honestly, I think if Havertz would have been fit, he would have put in a much better performance. Arsenal just need to work on either being a defensively rigid team and sticking to it. Now, I've called them things like prime Stoke over on my TikTok, but they're not really prime Stoke because they can't decide what they want to be in these big games. Do they want to sit back, invite the pressure and hit them on the break in the transitions, which is actually what Gyökeres is known for when he was at Sporting. Got something like 95, 96 goals last season in all comps. And a lot of them were through the transitional phases. But Arsenal they didn't seem to be able to capitalise. I think there might have been one time where Gyökeres was able to back into Van Dijk. But other than that, was there really a time where he had the ball and I was thinking, he looks dangerous? No. Other than Madueke, which is insane because when they signed him, my first thought was, why? And he's probably their best player. They missed Saka a million miles. Eze is one of the most creative midfielders in the blooming Premier League, and you decide not to start him in a game that was dying out for Arsenal to be creative. Jamie Carragher at half-time was saying, it's there for Arsenal, it's there for Arsenal, it's there for Arsenal. But what I was seeing, I was like thinking, they're not going to do it. And if you are an Arsenal fan watching this, and you are shocked that you didn't win, then look back at the past few seasons where you've had to play Liverpool, and if you'd beat them, you'd have had a chance in gaining up on them. Or if you'd have beaten them, you'd have been top of the league. Man City, when they won the last time Man City won the league, Arsenal was cheering that they got a 1-1 draw in a game they needed to win. If they'd have won that game, they'd have probably gone on to win the league. But no, same thing, mentality. They'd rather pass the ball back. This recycled football that is gladly starting to leave the Premier League. it was great having that bit of tiki-taka football back when one or two teams doing it, when Man City were doing it really well. Now we've got teams like your Burnley, your Leeds, all these teams that come up and go down, and lo and behold, they go down every year, and everyone's like, oh, why is that? It's because they don't play to their strengths. You need to be more direct against these teams. You need to be more physical. And until Arsenal can get to grips with that, I mean, they're the set-piece kings, but yet they were done by a set-piece. And I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans going on, oh, Raya should have done better, Raya should have done better. There's no keeper who's going to stop that. With that Alisson on the receiving end of that, he wouldn't have saved it. Edison wouldn't have saved it. Donnarumma, who's going to be signed for City very soon, you think he would have saved it? Hell no. So I just think we need to chill out on the Raya hate, but you need to be focused on what your manager is doing with this team. Because, yeah, against the lower league sides and mid-table, you'll win games. But when it comes to these top games, have they got enough to really push through and get the points when it counts? Not against a second game of the season, Fulham, but against your title rivals. Because if not, then it's all going downhill. Now, back on to Liverpool. So, it was announced late last night that Isak has signed for Liverpool. Now, what does this mean for Liverpool's season? So, if, for me, now I don't usually do this with my own team, I wouldn't put in ridiculous expectations on them, but anything less than a Premier League and possibly even a domestic trophy, and I don't mean the League Cup, I mean the FA Cup, then this season will have to be classed as a failure. There's no other way of doing it. You can't spend £500 million and not win trophies. The league is the standard, not the high hopes. That's what we've got to do as a bare minimum. And for me, it's got to be Premier League and Champions League. Like I say, I'd never normally expect that from Liverpool, but when you've just signed the world's best striker, the world's best midfielder, the second coming, opposed to the world's best striker in Isak with Ekitike, then you combine that with signing Mamadashvili, who's there ready to replace Alisson if he gets injured. Plus you got Kirkers, who put in a solid performance. First 3 games, including the Community Shield, been awful. But against Arsenal, honestly, he was a beauty to watch. As well as Madueke did he really create anything superb? Not particularly, because Kirkers was on him. Then we got Frimpong. Yeah, he's been injured for the last couple of games, but when he's back fit and firing, be unreal. So that's all I got for you for this one, and I will see you in the next video.